Alright, so here is your very simple care video for your first time snake. And here is a corn snake, which I think is a great first starter snake, because while the ball python is a nice pet rock and it's not as active as a young corn snake, the ball python tends to go off feed. They can go off feed for 6 months at a time even, and that can be a little frustrating for a first time snake keeper. Now with the corn snakes, I find them to be very voracious eaters, and that's a plus always in my book. So one thing to know, a little fun fact about corn snake, is they are actually just a rat snake. As far as eastern and Texas rat snakes that have the common albino, hypo, snow, and a few other morphs I reckon as well. Those are the only ones I'm actually familiar with. Oh, leucistic as well. But these corn snakes have come out with so many different color variations, and even some variations are only included in the hybrids that are the corn, king, and milk hybrid snakes. So this is my girl Athena. Let's get started by doing something really simple here, or saying something really simple. A lot of first-time snake owners overpay for the housing for their reptile in general, and a lot of people will get tanks, which is okay, but you don't ever want to get a tank unless it has a locking lid. You can get a smaller 2.5 gallon tank or so, but it's going to be a little costly. I want to say anywhere between $20 to $25, probably at your local Petco. The most simplest thing, I think, is a tub like this. Of course, if you're getting a baby, a little 12-quart tub is perfect. I suggest getting the dollar 12-quart tub like from Big Lots, not necessarily the one from Dollar Tree, because their lids don't stay on so well. You want one that's going to snap on both sides and doesn't lift up too much on the ledge of the box. So that's very simple housing. One thing that a lot of first-time snake owners do as well is get a heat lamp if they have their snake in a tank. That's not necessary and easily dries out the snake. This snake has never had a heat source, heat pad, or lamp, and I don't really suggest it for a corn snake. Some people do keep their corn snakes heated. She has been in a 65 degree in the winter, anywhere from 85 degree in my room throughout the whole 2 years or plus that she's lived with me. So she is completely fine without a heat source. Now for decorations, you don't even need to buy a fancy rock like this. You could actually just use a shoebox, as long as it doesn't get too wet, or even a tissue box makes a good hide for them. Of course, you will have to replace those regularly, and of course with that 12-quart shoe box that you're going to put your snake in, there's not enough room there. I've seen people even use just bowls like this, cut a hole in it to where they hide underneath the bowl. So bedding is something that is also really cheap. You could go extremely cheap and get paper towels. With a baby corn snake, you'll probably have to change the paper towels 2 or 3 times a week. Of course, what I have here is this stuff. This is a Critter Cure meant for small mammals. But this is I was watching another video online, and someone uses for their venomous snakes. This only costs about $6 at Walmart, and since you're going to get a baby snake most likely and put it in a 12-quart, that goes a long way. Now, this has been in here for a week, and it's still mostly dry. What I do is spot clean, and this will probably stay in here until I feel I need to clean out all of it or most of it. Spot cleaning is really nice, I think. You could use this, and you just take out the poopy clumps, take out all the damp stuff too when you're spot cleaning, and put fresh dryer in. And you don't always have to take all of that, is what I'm saying. So you can continue this for quite some time until it just gets too nasty or something. I think it's quite fine to do it that way. Also, it reduces poopy smell. You don't smell the poopy smell so much. This is a very nice smell reducer. Water. A lot of care sheets online will say give your reptile fresh water every day, which is very nice to the reptile. But I will say it is not necessary unless, of course, there is poop in the water. That's nice to get that cleaned out. They do like to poo in their water. I was gone for a week, and they had a source of water for a week. So that tells you they're fine. I've done that like about twice now as far as vacationing goes. Now, food is something I think a lot of people will go to like Petco and PetSmart and get those pre-frozen mice in the little baggies, which is okay, but it's also expensive. And I've heard sometimes that people tend to get mice or rats that have a pest, they have a bug in them, and it gets in the snake, and it's not good for the snake. The snake gets ill that way, and I guess there has been a report of one snake dying from the frozen mice that come from wherever they come from to Petco and PetSmart. That brings another thing to light. I do not suggest getting your first snake at Petco. Many people have had reports, including myself, of snakes having mites. Even their small mammals have mites there at Petco. PetSmart, I haven't had any problems with as far as animals go. So I think that's okay. Local pet stores, totally up to your what you would like to do there. I look at reviews, of course, see if anybody else you know has bought from there. How long have they been in business? That kind of thing. Are they actually knowledgeable, the snakes? That's always something at pet stores I find interesting. Even just going into Petco or PetSmart, they're not always completely knowledgeable. My suggestion is, if you go to a reptile show, and this is what I used to do all the time, each reptile show I would get just the amount of food I needed until the next reptile show. If you order online, I would suggest Lane Labs or Big Cheese Rodents. You can buy in bulk, but of course you got to pay for the shipping. But it does help if you can't get somewhere, and they do take about 4 days to ship to you. If you order on a Sunday night, it'll get there about Thursday, I think. Well, at least over here. I'm actually not sure exactly where they're located, so I guess depending where you are, but that's how it always works out for me. Of course, the best thing is find someone locally that can sell you food. A mouse breeder, I usually, if I have time, my mouse breeder I would go to is about an hour away. So that does take a little bit of time that I have to find to go get food. Let's see. Frozen thawed is usually best. The only reason I think that people really suggest just frozen thaw a lot of times is because people would leave food or rats in, live rats with their ball pythons. There'd be injured ball pythons, dead ball pythons, and that thing did happen. But like I said, the corn snakes are very voracious eaters. If you just want to feed your snake live, that's totally up to you. Frozen thaw just does help. You can store a lot at one time. I think that's just helpful. So, let's see what else. Caging is pretty simple. Like I said, if you want the aesthetically pleasing thing, you can put the money out for a lock lid cage. Otherwise, you could even use a critter keeper like this, which is just a medium. I suggest a medium for a baby corn snake locking lid. Yes, there's a mouse in there. We're about to feed the snake. And of course, that's nice. So anyway, it's just either the 12-quart shoebox tub. Very simple, easy. You can store it on the shelf even, and it could just be like, oh, what's in there? Oh, that's a snake. That's probably not the best thing to do. I mean, it is good for easy storage if you don't have a lot of room. Like I said, if you just want the aesthetically pleasing thing, get the locking lid. You're going to want to put the money out for that, or the medium-sized critter keeper. So, yeah, there have been a lot of loose snakes in houses because people don't use locking lids or snapping lids. Now, let's see. If you are going to order online for mice and you don't know the exact size that your snake might eat, it's always good to order like a size down, just in case sometimes if you're unsure, and you could always just feed the snake more at a time. Let's see, have I covered everything? I hope I have. Well, let's go ahead and feed this girl. There we go. Feeding tongs are very useful. These are about $8 at your local pet store usually, but most people don't want to touch the mouse. Yeah, so I like using these things a lot, and not just for snakes, other critters as well. But those are also very useful. That's pretty much it. Very simple little care sheet here for the corn snake, your first time snake, and looks like Dana Scully up there wants some more food. She's had quite a big meal though. Anyway, so we'll leave her to eat, and that's your simple little corn snake care video.